Hello and welcome to the final of the UK Grand Championships with me, Rebecca Gillard, joined as always by Richard Walker.
Bonjour.
And today we have a very special guest, Wamma.
Hello.
Hello. And we've got you two on screen.
Oh yeah.
I feel like I should leave. Am I interrupting?
Definitely not. I mean, there's nothing untoward going on here.
Oh, okay.
Look,
But there's alcohol in the other room. Oh, so this was the setup that you got rid of there.
Yeah.
So was that 5 locations?
I think I had 3 iron gates and a sea tower.
Yeah.
Among other stuff.
I think it was 5 limited locations specifically.
And then I think I saw a resin from the sea and something else as well. So we can see why you're mulliganing.
Yeah.
Thank you for demonstrating.
I remember you mulliganed. You said, I'm going to mulligan. And I said, oh, why did you not have a Lannis? And so you showed that you did have a Lannis. But then the rest of
Everything else is rubbish. Yeah. I mean, at that point, we'd already played each other anyway, so there's no secret tech stuff going on.
Oh, that reminds me. I have a bone to pick about the Swiss game.
Did Richard cheat?
He didn't cheat or anything, but during that game, whenever a Greyjoy location went in your discard pile, I shuffled it back in with Isle of Ravens. And I felt really smug and proud of myself for doing it. And then when you commentated it, not only did you not acknowledge it at any point, but then when you played We Take Westeros, you said the only reason you haven't taken a Greyjoy location is you haven't drawn one.
Kind of true.
Oh man, I was hoping you forgot about that.
Never.
Wow, that's really stuck in your core.
Oh, it has. It will continue to, even now that I've aired my grievances in public.
People will now know about your smug plays from games and games ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, wasn't that like round 4 or something?
Round 5, yeah.
Round 5.
Wow.
It's priorities.
Priorities. Now Wamma has a sense of superiority now.
Yeah.
You've got the upper hand.
So we both mulliganed this because, I mean, we saw your hand. My one was similarly rubbish. I remember here looking at my hand thinking, oh, that's a rough mulligan. Richard's just going to steamroll me here.
And I remember thinking, fuck.
This is a rough mulligan. So Richard, what do you actually have in hand there?
Well,
you must remember some of the cards you put in.
nothing really that I want. I've got no economy, no decent characters. I've got no characters of any high cost or anything at all. I think my highest cost character could be Hagen's daughter.
Okay.
And it's just full of stuff I don't really want. It's kind of mid-game cards. Nothing that I want to set up. It just fluff. I think I actually set up an Iron Fleet Scout as my only card on the board. And 4 cards in shadows. A Bill Bone, Hagen's daughter, Night Flyer, and something else.
Pinch,
Pinch?
maybe?
I don't think it was Pinch. I think it was something. Could be
Rhymes
a
with
rhyme
me?
with me. Could be. I'm not sure. But yeah. So at this point, I feel like I've lost.
I mean, you said it's a rough mulligan, but that seems alright.
I mean, it's okay. Like, Mira, I don't normally like to set up. Having her duped is fine. Summer's not a great one to set up. From what I remember, the cards I had left in hand were quite useless too. But I had a really, really good redraw. And obviously, against the board that Richard's got,
You fell into it anyway.
characters. At this point, I definitely no longer felt like I had a rough moment.
Yeah, I mean, you've got the 2 gold economy with the Gates and the Moon. You have the Duped Mira, a Bran, and the Summer. So Mira, as you say, is normally better to be able to set up into shadows. But getting a Duped on the board means you get the extra card draw. Also, Summer on the board, you can always do something like, if you've got a Skagos, because we know you play it, you can Skagos Summer, sacrifice Mira, uses Mira's reaction to the sacrifice to put back into shadows. So there's ways to sort of reset the board into a way that you want to use it.
Yeah.
And you can still get that Summer trigger if you do manage to get Skagos onto the board.
If James doesn't have the dupe for Mira, I seriously consider opening first snow here.
Oh, first snow, okay.
Yeah, because that sends them all back to your hand unless you have duplicates for them, which is feasible. Yeah. But it kind of evens the character count, I guess, on the board, allowing me to focus then bringing stuff out of the shadows like Bill Bone and Hagen's daughter to have an impact. But the duplicate makes me think, well, you're going to get a big character out, you're going to open at the gate, you're going to have resources. And then you'll actually have a character present that I can't punch through. So that's kind of a sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like the idea though that if you open first snow, that Wamma would play an event randomly in the marshalling phase so that he could sacrifice Bran and put Mira into shadows to cancel his own event.
Then play Summer next round and
get Bran back.
I think Bran can only cancel opponents.
I think he
against-
can.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
I think I've
really
tried
sad.
that before and then read them and been sad.
Was that in the same game you reconned your own search trigger and actually did it successfully?
Are you allowed to rick on your own?
Yeah.
So you can rick on your own, but you can't Bran
You can rick on anything, any effect that had the word search in it.
Okay.
So you fetched a Great Hall.
Yeah.
Even though you don't really have bigs. Is this have you redrawn into one at this point, or is this you hoping that you'll find one?
I think I have maybe one now, but I still don't really have the resources to play a 7-cost big. I do wonder if getting a static gold modifier is just better.
Yeah, I feel like it is, because I know you can use a Great Hall to reduce by 2, but at the end of the day, it's only for uniques, and at least with an Iron Gate, you've got the gold that's more flexible. You can use it for anything.
Yeah, I mean, obviously at this point we've played each other. We both know that we're on a city besieged, which can kneel the Great Hall.
Yeah, I feel like an Iron Gate would have been better here for you, Richard.
I mean, obviously, it's not a huge difference given the setup, but
No, but we actually discussed this in the top 8 game with Joe Harrison, where he got naval turn 1, but he fetched a Great Hall anyway, and he struggled to use it because he didn't have the character presence on the board. I think if you're going to be, victimized by your setup, you probably don't get Great Hall because it's not going to help you in the short term to stabilize.
yeah, I know in my top 4 game against Ben, I'm sure you'll get to this, but I deliberately made a point of setting up an old gate as my economy card rather than a Great Hall, and then fetching Gates of the Moon on at the gates because I knew he was going to naval me, and I wanted to make sure I had that, that static gold.
Makes sense.
I didn't know you did that because of
Yeah.
I mean, we knew
We
you
did
knew
know
about...
that you did that.
Yeah. I didn't realise that you deliberately set up the old gate.
Windermere.
Good use of the Great Hall.
Yeah. And there's your Iron Gate. Maybe that's why you fetched a Great Hall. You already had an Iron Gate in hand, and you wanted to sort of like diversify your portfolio of natives.
That's a very generous narration.
Still pretty
of what's
sure that
going
the
through
Iron
my
Gate would be
mind.
better first. But then saying that, I'm not in the final, so I can't really I can't really say anything about
But
you.
don't let that stop you.
I can't really judge and make comments like this, can I? Oh!
So that's Ramsay.
That is Ramsay. Bye, Wendy. Bye, Bran.
Yeah.
Does this count as a sacrifice?
Yeah, so I could have triggered Mira there, but I
Yeah.
think I wanted the characters on the board. There's nothing to blank anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
And while she's got the duplicate, she's a bit of a pain in the ass. So I think my logic here was I was worried you were going to throw stuff out. Like, if you just had Windermere and didn't have the cards and shadows, I don't think I'd bother Ramsaying there.
No. You just make sure you can get all 3 challenges off and just play the game, go forward.
Yeah, because I had Skagos in hand, my logic was, now if you bring a card out of shadows, I can just immediately get rid of them if I want to. And you do bring a card out of shadows, but I can't immediately get rid of it.
Yeah, so I feel like I don't want to get rid of your Gates of the Moon because that's helping me.
Yeah.
Economy, maybe, but the Skagos with you having the control with the Ramsay there, I feel like I need to get rid of that, otherwise I'll never be able to get aboard.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
Skagos Ramsay combination is just horrible, I think, for you at the moment when you've got such a small board. Or lack of board.
Yeah, and Nightflyer, I remember at the start of the game when you put 4 cards in shadows, I was like, they can't all be rhymes with Meek. And as it turns out, none of them are.
No, I don't think any of them were.
No, they weren't. So each time you're bringing a card out of shadows, I'm like, oh yeah, that's a shadows card. Oh yeah, Nightflyer exists.
You know what, I didn't actually realise how many Shadows cards I was running, and I think they're
Until
all
you
pretty
set
much
up
one-offs,
4.
yeah. I think I have about 6.
Yeah,
And
so you
they're all
got what?
one-offs.
Nightflyer, Hagen's Daughter, Old Bill Bone, Pinch of Powder, Rhymes of Meek.
And what's the other one?
Just a quick note here.
Grey Ghost.
Grey Ghost.
I think Grey Ghost is in Shadows.
Yes, I think you're right.
So just a quick note that I Am No One was played on Mira. And she's going in with an intrigue challenge here, which Richard is defending with Old Bill Bone.
Yep, so this is more me forgetting cards exist, because really there's no reason for me to not include Ramsay in that challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Mira doing the military stealthing Bilbone, which kills him. And you get the unopposed and the insight. But yeah, as you said, you could have quite easily put Ramsay into that challenge if you wanted to make sure you won it. But then you don't know what Richard's got in shadows. So.
Of course, my perspective is I just try and protect my hand, because if my hand goes, there's no comeback.
Yeah.
So I don't care if Bilbone dies.
Yeah, and it also, I don't know if you were thinking about this already, but it denies me a power.
Yeah.
It does.
So what do you think... so you chose to defend the intrigue over the military because you could have defended either, depending on, obviously, if one went in Vexed on the second challenge. Do you feel like it was better to defend the intrigue, or do you think it might have been better to defend the military and have a character there on the board ready for next turn?
I know James Bond marched, so if he wanted to trade a recon for my character with icons, he might decide to do that, because obviously I'm struggling for characters on the board, and that's another way to control my board. I don't think it's really that worthwhile keeping the one character at this stage. So yeah, I think protect the hand was my priority at this stage.
Okay. Did you have anything in hand that was good that you remember?
Hopefully all 60 cards.
All 60 cards in hand.
They all have a purpose.
I feel like you might lose by being decked in.
Was it a 61 card deck?
Maybe. I don't really remember, actually.
No?
Yeah, I think it was.
For anyone that's interested, both these decks can be found online. What was that first snow?
Yeah.
Oh,
So obviously, I mean, you're just trying to, I assume at this point, limit the number of cards I can keep on the board. Get rid of the mirror dupe to make it so I have to actually fear Valor, potentially. Yeah. Similarly, for me, I've gone with Heir to the Iron Throne as sort of I can hedge my bets. If you do flip Valor, which I wasn't expecting, then I can, maybe try and find a Rickon dupe or whatever. Otherwise, I can upgrade Rickon to a bigger character.
Yeah, I don't think Valor would help me in this game at this moment. It's too early. There's no real need to Valor your board at this stage. You're only 2 powers up.
Yeah, if you Valor this turn, I basically just win, because I've got the economy, I've got a hand. I'm just going to replay cards.
Heir to the Iron Throne here is a really good counter to the first snow as well, because obviously you can sacrifice Rickon for somebody that's actually going to stay on the board.
Yeah.
So it's actually, if anything, maybe possibly worse for Richard, because you can't even put out a few chuds to start building up your board presence, because they're going to disappear.
No,
Whereas
I do have
Wamma
Hagen's Daughter in Shadows, which can bypass obviously first snow. So if I can, I'm going to have 7 gold to spend, because Gates of the Moon, along with Iron Gate, Great Hall, and First Snow. So if I have a 7 coster, I can get it out, but then there'd be no protection for it. So it's kind of, do I have a boat? Do I have eager deck hands? That kind of thing. So I'm sort of having to play with more niche cards to try and make the board more even.
Yeah.
And that time on the Air Sacrifice, I did choose to put Mirror in Shadows, because she's going to lose the dupe from First Snow anyway.
Yeah. So you might as well have her in Shadows for whatever big character Richard manages to put out.
Yeah, when I saw Heir to the Iron Throne, I thought this just countered it, because he's going to get Summer back to hand, which will give him some more options next round. And he's going to just get something out which is resistant to First Snow, i.e. Cat.
Yeah. As I recall, I was torn between Air and the City Besieged there. But I thought, if I play a City Besieged, probably at that point, I was worried, first of all, that you've got multiple 9 initiative plots. So you could just make me go first, then bring a character out Shadows, and basically just tank 2-claim Intrigue, and then I've kind of wasted the 2-claim plot.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then, if I played Air into First Snow, I would have been in trouble.
Oh wow, this is
Sorry,
good for
if
you,
I played
Wamma.
City Besieged.
Yeah.
So you've got the Lyman there, which seems really nice. Just a quick question, actually. So you chose to put Cat out with the Heir to the Iron Throne. Is that because there wasn't a bigger option to put out, or you just like the idea of having Cat's denial?
Good question. I can't remember.
Fair enough.
I seem to recall from some of your other Heir to the Iron Throne triggers from earlier rounds that you don't seem to have a lot of luck. I think you dupe Great John in one, and you dupe somebody else in another.
I think you do deliberately, don't you, sometimes?
I was going to say, is that by design, or is that due to failure in the search?
It all depends on board. I don't sort of intend to use it as a dupe tool unless, obviously, I've flipped into a Valor or whatever. But yeah, it just whatever comes out, comes out.
You just pick the best option of what you've got.
Yeah.
Not a lot happening on the board now.
No, I think...
Must be my marshalling.
Genuinely think it is.
Yeah, of course. Looking at James's board and then looking at me going second, don't really want to put the character out to die.
Yeah, this is where I've gone into try to cut off every possible avenue where I didn't need to play out another character to keep control of the board, and I had gold to spare, so I've put out Rickon knowing that he'll bounce, so that if you play Euron you can't go and fetch silence.
Yeah.
I remember the moment I did that, you then went, oh, I don't have Euron anyway. Man.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, I commented it at the time. I was saying, oh, I see what you're doing there. You're screening for Euron. You're like, yeah, well, playing it safe. He was like, yeah, I wish I could draw him. Wish I could draw anyone of note.
And then you've actually just gone ahead and marshalled silence anyway.
Yes. I was like, this is what I've drawn. You don't really want to draw the silence ever. But, I guess the silent can bring me a ship in and help economically or on the backboard. Knowing after the first game you don't run political disaster.
Yeah.
And maybe if I got a deckhand, seeing my hand is full of subpar card, maybe that's in my hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I quite like the play of putting Rickon out even though it's come back to hand. It's similar to when if you're playing Targ and someone first knows it, you put your Viserys out.
Yeah.
Because,
See if they play an attachment.
Exactly.
Is it clever play or is it play that you gain through experience from playing so much?
I mean, I'd say it's a combination in that it's having awareness of what threats there can be and then keeping them in mind.
You're supposed to say it's clever play.
I mean, I kind of did.
You just meant to say, I'm awesome, so...
It is, well, yeah, it is good play, isn't it?
So Wamma's done all 3 challenges there, and Richard putting a warship into play using the silence
You did
has
have a
allowed
deckhand.
the Eager deckhand to come in and do a military challenge.
So at this point, I'm partly thinking, oh, bollocks, I should have left Ramsay standing. But then you've got an Iron Fleet Scout. You can win the military basically regardless. And I don't really care about Ramsay now that you've blown up my Scaros. So I think at this point I'm weighing up whether I want to bring Mira out of Shadows.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I forgot she was there.
Oh, no, I'm not. I'm playing No Surprises. Oh, I know, because I was leaving it unopposed and I wanted to stop you playing Rhymes with Meek.
Yes.
Ah.
And I think you also said that at the time.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was like, no surprises.
coming.
Do you fear my events? And James was like, well, if you have a Rhymes with Meek, I'd rather you not have the cards.
Yeah.
So let's just play it safe.
Just mean.
And I was like, I wish I had a Rhymes with Meek.
So it's good for you to leave this unopposed here because it means that you've got power to take next turn.
Yeah.
And sometimes people forget that, don't they? Like, just let through that unopposed, especially if you're ahead anyway, because it's nice to have power to take on comeback.
I think it's worthwhile me doing the military challenge anyway, despite that, getting power on the house card.
Oh, yeah.
Reducing his board of a sizable character.
Yeah.
And getting a character out myself is a little bit more helpful.
Yeah.
I'm slightly curious there that I had the gold for Winter is Coming and chose not to play it.
Yeah.
So I can only assume
that would have been quite strong.
I can only assume maybe you were already a couple of cards over reserve and I was like, oh, whatever,
I did only play Silent that round, but then I did play out the Longship and the deckhand.
Yeah, you being able to use Silence to get 2 extra cards out of your hand.
Yeah.
But it was a mistake to not hit you because I don't know what cards you've got in hand. I assume probably some of them aren't very good for you at this time, but also, there's going to be targets I want to hit.
Yeah.
The fewer cards I have in hand, the fewer options I have.
Is there anything for you to take?
Only a Skagos, but I play this because it's high gold, the highest gold plot I have.
Yeah.
And high initiative as well, right?
Yeah, I wonder if James is expecting maybe a Valar, so I think I don't play Valar, just in case. Because I've got nothing on the board I want to keep, and he has Cat and Wyman. So I think Valar does seem okay, but then I also think James will know that.
Yeah, I mean, I would have been perfectly fine with you valoring because you've just sent Summer back to my hand. I've got Mirror and Shadows. I've got a good base of economy on the back row. Yeah. And so if you valor, I fancy my chances of being able to flood. I think I played City Besieged as like a halfway house there, and if you do valor, I can kneel your Great Hall.
Agreed.
Also, if the 2 claim there, it means that whatever Richard puts onto the board, you're probably going to be able to get rid of it. His board's still so small that he's not going to be able to put out 3-4 characters to combat any.
I mean, he doesn't have any military icon yet.
But I do have a stealth one in Shadows.
Yeah.
And I have a military icon in Shadows too.
You do.
So,
got
Hagen's daughter, yeah.
But I do have Summer in hand.
He does.
So you can win the military if you want to.
From what I remember, I then spend this round... My new thing that I'm worried about, after being worried about Euron last round, is I'm now worried about you having Vince. And so
yes, I also recall that.
Which I don't think you drew a Vince for the entire game.
No. Which is fine. You can't base your deck or game plan around drawing the one card. You need options.
But generally, when it's a 3-off, you'd see it at some point. It does seem like a little bit bad luck not to.
I don't think I saw it in my top 8 game, my top 4 game, or in the final game. You know, he abandoned me.
Aww, poor Vince. He doesn't love you anymore.
It's okay. It's just a card, isn't it?
Yeah. Wasn't even restricted then, it can't be that good.
It's the Tricon. Is that Asher?
So, I've got a character.
Hey, that's a character as well. It's like a real
stealth
one.
On first player, I can, maybe do something.
It does mean you haven't saved gold for Hagen's daughter.
Correct.
Which I think is going to be key with my stealth.
Yep.
Although you can't stealth past Asher.
He can.
Not unless I blank her text box.
Yeah. Yeah, but Richard's going to Vince it.
But watch to see the length James goes to screen that.
So I'm trying to bait out the Vince. I trigger do you want to Vince it? Do you want to Vince it? Do you want to Vince it? And you make a show of considering it when you don't have a Vince in that.
I make a show of considering it all the time because it's just good practice.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Because so many times they trigger something and you go, okay. And if you don't look at your hand, sometimes you forget about the Vince you've got.
Yeah.
And you think, that'll be...
I vaguely recall a story about where someone Viper's eyes you and you handed them your hand and the top card was a hand's judgment and they were like, what the fuck? And you were like, yes, I meant to do that.
That was at Varberg and the guy there was there from Brazil. His name was Daniel and he just looked at it and goes, is this a joke? And I was like, no, actually I just forgot, but I'll play it.
It's just lucky that was the top card. I'm just realising that when you put your hands down there on your lap, Richard, with your cards, you can actually see them reflected in your lanyard.
James cheated! Wow.
Confirmed.
Whereas I've got a Keyforge pin on my one protecting it from any such reflections.
I wonder what that pin was from. I was trying to figure it out all day.
Although I should point out that my hand quite low at the table there,
this is very bad practice.
Yeah, that's bad practice.
It's bad practice, but I think what you've drawn this game kind of shows that you're not doing anything about it.
It would be amazing if I had the sleight of hand, but
yeah.
Richard just has 3 Vinces stuck to the bottom of the table, 3 Balon, 3 Eurons.
Yeah, all taped underneath the table.
Yeah.
So you've done a military here. I've let it through unopposed because I can still keep my board, and it means that you've got a second power on your faction card for my 2-claim power.
Yeah.
My basic thought process here is I want to maximise all 3 challenges.
Yeah.
And Richard's making it easy
with
for
your
you to
2-claim.
I mean, at this point, you know that I can just push all 3 even if you make challenges. So you're just thinking, oh, fuck it, I might as well.
Yeah, with Sander coming out as well, that gives you all the presents you need.
So here I've used Mirror during the Caitlyn challenge, just in case there's a Vince.
Ah.
So now that you don't have stealth or military, I can push through 2-claim military, and we know I've got Winter is coming now.
Both of those instances of you screening the mirror trigger through the protection of Cat and playing out Rickon during first note, even though he was coming back to hand, are 2 instances of plays that a lot of players wouldn't do or they wouldn't think to do. and that sort of shows, the gulf of quality of player that you'd see in the top cuts generally.
Yeah,
I think-
it's in both of you.
I didn't make the play.
Hey, you're in the final.
Yeah, you've already beaten me, so
Yeah, that's true.
if you're talking me up, you're talking yourself up.
Yeah, that's how I see it too. But
He's trying
now
to
the secret's out.
So I think at this point you've passed doing the power challenge with Asher to... I'm not entirely sure what your reasoning was there.
Yeah, because you can just stealth past two
Yeah,
of the
I have
challenges.
stealth for military, I have stealth for power, and I have enough bodies to push through an intrigue challenge anyway.
So maybe it would have been better for Richard to do the power? Because to win it, you'd have to defend with a couple, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
But-
I think that's a mistake. Looking at it now, I mean, there's no reason. If I'm going to lose all 3 challenges on the return, then I may as well just do the challenge and get an extra couple of power for it.
Although saying that, we know that Wamma has 2 winters coming in hand, so he could have just used the winters coming on the power challenge if he wanted to.
Sure.
That's true.
I don't know how much got. I don't know if that's 1 gold.
Oh, I've
or
only got
2.
1 gold
That is only
remaining at this
1.
point.
Okay.
So I'm going intrigue first. I had a choice basically of do I want to try and pull a risen first.
Yeah, and I'm considering an Iron Gate.
Yeah, I believe you currently at this point have 3 cards in hand.
Yeah, so there's obviously something I want to protect. Looking at my cards carefully.
And then you're about to let it unopposed, and then you realise probably should oppose the one that I can actually oppose.
Indeed.
So I've winter is coming this rather than the
I've got loads
military.
of cards.
So I pull Alanis Baylor, is that?
Yep.
And
And a
a
risen.
Risen.
Risen's sad.
Yeah. Yeah, I've made a point of doing the winter is coming on the intrigue rather than the military here because I figure even if I could kill Asher, we both know I've got March to the Wall.
You have, yeah.
And
yeah,
I have
of
a
course.
board full of unduped stuff.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
you
Makes sense for you to
valoring
march.
on the next round is probably quite likely anyway.
Yeah.
It's a shame that you take my mid-range, mid-cost characters from my hand as well.
Yeah.
That's something that could help stabilise in the next round. However, I think the game is pretty much down from here on anyway, and we both still have Valar to play.
Yeah.
I don't think it really makes a lot of difference.
Can I
Agreed.
say it yet? You look like you're getting smashed, Richard.
I'm getting wrecked. Hashtag wrecked.
Considering your previous game with Wamma, like, your
It
guys'
was
game was a really close game, like,
Yeah.
there was lots of really cool plays, and you're just getting destroyed.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't think of many cool plays that I've made in this game, but at least James has
James
educated
is
the
showing
masses.
off.
Even then they're not cool plays. They're plays that reduce the tension because it's just saying, "Oh, you had even if you've got this out, I'm going to stop it anyway."
Yeah.
That's not
It's going to
exciting to watch.
It's going to complement your legend, though. Those players, people are going to be like, "Oh yeah, that's what he's done. This is the Wamma."
So, Richard, I think it's kind of obvious which way this game is going.
Yeah, I'm about to come back and win this.
Yeah, in the next 3 minutes.
Yeah,
So, looking back,
yeah.
do you feel like there's anything that you did that was a really bad idea, or anything that you were just unlucky with, or that you could have done differently in this game?
I did think at the time maybe I could have set up some of the Shadows cards, specifically maybe the characters.
Okay.
I don't know, but
But then you wouldn't have drawn as many cards back up, I guess. Because, for example,
I think I
Hagen's
could,
Daughter is 3
like,
cost.
because Billbone 2 cost and it 2 to put into Shadows. I could have put out Grey Ghost, which I think I should have done from the start. That's also 2 cost. So I think maybe having those on the board could help my challenge present.
Yeah, having Grey Ghost and All Billbone out rather than in Shadows means that you've saved yourself a gold on All Billbone in round 1,
Yeah.
and you've got that Grey Ghost effect, which you've still not had the economy to actually get out. So
Exactly.
the 2 instead kicker has been worthless, basically.
Agreed.
So meanwhile, I marched into Valor to protect Wyman. I didn't really mind protecting Asher because I figure I've got enough steam to try and push out here anyway.
Especially the Duke drop.
The one
Yeah.
of Asher, so
Yeah, I didn't know she was a one.
she ain't coming back.
She's not the one true queen.
She is not.
But yeah, you're not even seen your favourite character. Well, you did, but
did, yeah.
not to put out.
I think the setup hand that I had I feel like it just didn't. It wasn't what I wanted, and it didn't help me in the matchup in any way.
I think you were right to mulligan seeing the first hand, but as you say, the second hand, there wasn't a lot you could do with. Maybe you could have set some of these things up, like you say, the Grey Ghost. There's no reason really not to set it up. I guess having it in shadows gives a bit more of a ooh kind of feeling to your opponent, but
yeah, it has to be a sort of case of, they don't know what to expect. But
So, meanwhile, you've conceded.
yeah. I mean, Jane closed the game off expertly from the start, really. You know what you had to do, and you did it.
Yeah.
So,
congratulations, Jane.
Congratulations. Commiserations, Richard.
Thank you.
Loser.
Thank you.
Well, you're not coming back. No, thank you very much for commentating with us. Jane, it's been lovely to have you on.
No worries. Thank you very much for letting me, show that I'm enough of a glory hound that I'll come all the way to Northampton to commentate on the final.
That is true. You did beg for this opportunity.
Yeah.
I remember.
You insisted you'd come up. But yeah, thanks everyone for watching. If you would like to be a patron, you can do so by going to patreon.com/the White Walkers. And we will be recording a little casual tournament this weekend, and hopefully we'll be getting some of those games next week.
All right. Bye.
Bye everyone.
Bye.